What the fuck was that about?
Stolas got hurt bad.
Stolas got what? Ow. He can get hurt?
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm still not okay. Hang on, guys. I think I need a hit of dopamine.
That was the sound of a fucking divorce!
Oh yeah, now that's the shit. How's it going, folks? My name is Drawz, and today, fellow shippers, fans, and degenerates, we're going to be diving into the deep end of the current status of the Stolas relationship. And oh my lord, folks, do we have a lot to go over, so without any delay, let's get neck deep into it. We start this air quotes conversation, if you can really call it that, with Stolas desperately trying to run damage control over the night at Ozzy's. Seemingly hours after Blitz rushed off, granted, we don't know exactly when this conversation took place, it could have been any time that night, even when Blitz was off with Luna in that bonus episode, but we can't exactly be sure when it was. With Stolas leading by texting, "I'm sorry if anything I said or did may have offended you tonight." Blitz replies with, "It's whatevs." We know exactly why Blitz is being short with Stolas, we are more aware of his side with how his end of the night went. It wasn't great. With Blitz breaking down after everything we've seen this imp put through and crying at the sight and memory of his mother and sister, Blitz is emotionally raw from being ripped apart not only by Vraska, but to make matters worse, Fizzarali, in a very social setting I might add, with Fizz assaulting not only the man's talent but his love life to boot, and Vraska just dogpiling on top of it. With some of the harshest and sharpest truths that have been thrown at Blitz, and he isn't even defending himself. He knows how badly he fucked her over.
Oh, Blitzo? I used to date.
Oh, Vraska, you're here.
I'd stroke on my plate. Yeah, but when it was my turn, he did no reciprocating. A selfish imp in the sheets, and just as bad in the streets. A reckless, heartbreaking freak.
And she's publicly calling him out on his bullshit. It doesn't excuse how Blitz treats Stolas, but you can understand where Blitz is coming from, especially because Stolas recoiled when he was getting viciously mocked. Between that and the previous nature of their deal, how Stolas treated him, granted, he was under the false impression this was how Blitz expressed his love language, and he referred to Blitz as
My impish little lady.
It's not hard to understand why Blitz is seeing this thing with Stolas as strictly transactional, but it's clear he cares about Stolas. He's just in a tough situation that Stolas doesn't outright know about. I'm not saying anyone is in the right or wrong here, they're both in the wrong here. Stolas, likely in a panic, responds by saying, "I'm sorry, never mind, it's not a big deal. I was just worried about you. You seem very upset and you took off so fast. But maybe I read too much into that. I'm glad if that's not the case. I wasn't upset either, I just wanted to make sure you weren't, and obviously you can handle any stupid joke a clown can make. Asmodeus can be very invasive in his humor, but I thought it was pretty funny myself. What he said about me, at least. I enjoy being at the subject of jest. Maybe you can say mean things to me next time you come over, if you want." I don't think Stolas is being 100% honest here. Stolas put up with a lot of abuse from Stella over the years, and he also recoiled and shied away when Asmodeus was riffing on him. You can't convince me that Stolas was enjoying himself here. Someone who enjoys being the subject of jest does not hide their face in the presence of a joke, even when it's not a personal attack. I don't think Stolas really wants Blitz to ridicule or belittle him. Not to kink shame anyone, everyone has their thing and that's cool, but I think what Stolas wants here is just the chance to be able to talk with Blitz. The problem is neither one understands how or where to start. All of the problems these two have could be resolved if both of them would just take the chance and just fucking talk. But there's even more to unpack here, so let's talk about how Stolas comments on how Blitz can take a joke. Any stupid joke that a clown can make, to be exact. We understand Stolas isn't trying to offend Blitz here, he's trying to pay him a compliment, but Blitz used to be a clown and he knows Stolas knows this. Stolas was trying to smooth things over, but it's easy to see how an emotionally raw person might take that in the wrong way in the heat of the moment, regardless of if the intent was positive in nature. But even that can be misread because it's predicated by a not-so-subtle, it's not a big deal. Spoiler alert, it's a big deal. Given we know how both were doing by the end of the night, it can be safely assumed that the way Stolas was talking to him made Stolas come off as condescending in Blitz's eyes. We don't think clearly when we've been shaken as these two have, and it's not Stolas' fault either, it's just an unfortunate series of events. And then we see this hot mess continue with Blitz's response. We also have to remember that even if Stolas didn't mean to belittle Blitz, this isn't also the first time he, or other denizens of hell, have treated imps with very little regard. Imps are the bottom rung. You couldn't be lower on the list if you were the Will Smith fish from Shark Tale. Imps are the help, and even Stolas has been casually racist. Again, even if that wasn't his intent. We know from the drug trip in episode 6, Truth Seekers, that Blitz sees Stolas as so above him that he's bound in gold chains led by a collar with Stolas at the end of it. He recognizes the social divide between him and Stolas. Stolas, as well-meaning as he is, doesn't quite get it. He loves Blitz. He's smitten, totally head over heels. This is a childhood romance for Stolas. For Blitz, it was a heist job that his dad put him up to. These two were never fully on the same page until A Night at Ozzy's, when we got a masterfully done lament by Stolas realizing that he's been lying to himself.
Owl in a cage, you show your age, your sweetness has run foul. Without a change, you're lost, exhausted by your time on stage. Then you walked in my room, and like sparks in the dark, life was suddenly thrilling and new. What's between you and I? Just a comfortable lie. I'm the fool who believes when you look in my eyes. Prince, all alone upon your throne, your power is so frail. You raise your voice, you have no choice inside your gilded jail.
This is especially heartbreaking because he's getting a divorce from Stella at the same time, and Blitz was his drug. He used the high of their meets to distract him from his daily trauma, and at the end of the day, all Stolas has is Via on the weekends and an empty house. And everything he envisioned with Blitz and him to be seemingly entirely in his own head. We pick up on the next text in the following episode where Octavia runs off to the world of the living and goes missing, saying, "Thanks for helping with Via today. You were great in that human show." Blitz is not blind and clearly recognizes Stolas' support when he finds just the poorest of jokes to be hilarious. But as much as this man loved Blitz, even he can't escape the endless onslaught of poor comedy without getting a little tired of it. I'd say he's just human, but that's not quite the case. Demon Prince and all that, don't you know? But it's relatable, and that's the point. But the fact that Stolas is acknowledging his quote-unquote performance is good, it at least establishes a positive connection. But again, it's all about timing, and Stolas has the social grace and awareness of a baby giraffe, so I mean, there's that to consider. And at this point, Bliss is just going through the motions by saying no problem. With Stolas later asking, "Are you coming over tonight with a book?" But we come to find out it's been some time since these two have actually met and talked in person. With the following texts, "If you don't feel like coming, that's okay. I'm sure I can do without it for 1 month." And that's really important because we learn going forward that to the present, they haven't met up since the night at Ozzy's. And Blitz's response is just, "Okay." That, Jesus Christ, these two, I swear. Stolas continues with what can only be described as his best by acknowledging that Blitz is going through a lot, saying, "Do you plan to visit tomorrow? I know you've been busy and working hard. Maybe if you prefer, we can just skip the bedroom and relax maybe. I'm sure you need a break." He does know something is up, but we can't get anything from Blitz. You can't force someone to communicate or feel. Stolas is trying so hard to be understanding here, but we see with how Blitz responds with, "Whatever you want, it's your night," and he just keeps stonewalling Stolas. He's doing the only thing he knows how to do when he feels hurt, and he did feel very hurt, and that was to put up those walls.
I don't need you. I can do this shit on my own so easily. But you don't want to do things alone, Lizzo. You tried the solo act. It didn't work out so well. Yet you still shove away anyone who gets too close until they resent you for being a selfish, shitty shit.
Are you afraid to love people, Blitzy?
Because he can't stand to be hurt again, and that's why Blitz is the way he is, and why he just outwardly rejects any attempt Stolas makes when it comes to any meaningful conversation. If you're not up for it, or too tired, that's perfectly fine, no pressure. I don't have anything with the grimoire till next month. Maybe. From this, we can tell that it's been well over a month, and unless there was a phone call or FaceTiming we didn't know about, this has been the entirety of their conversation, and Stolas is still trying, increasingly more desperate, to salvage whatever he has with Blitz, while at the same time trying to get Blitzen out from their contract. Give me just a second and get to that. Blitz wants so desperately to be loved that the man adopted Luna, and it's clear that he does have feelings for Stolas, and as imperfect as he is, he's been trying to not be like his own father, the one who would sell him for a wadded up fiver and a slim fit condom. Blitz so desperately craves meaningful connection, to the point of stalking his employees, but he just refuses any suggestion of trying to work this out. Everyone needs time. But the end goal should be in an effort to heal. But in the case of Stolitz, I think a lot of us can agree that there is something here, something worth salvaging. But it continues. Maybe instead of our usual arrangement on the full moon, we can probably catch up this week. Maybe on Monday. But Bliss responds with, he might be busy. I wouldn't want to bother you. You can always drop off the book on the full moon, and I can leave it for you if you're too tired to do anything. But I would like to see you. And here we have the culmination of Stolas' reason for trying to obtain an Osmodian crystal, which we learned about because of some lovely folks who are way more hardcore than me. Seriously, the vast majority of this fandom are fucking fantastic. It's Stolas' final gift to Blitz, freeing him from their contract. See, Asmodeus is the sin of lust, and as such, succubi are subservient to him. And it's his crystals which allow the succubi to travel freely to the world of the living, the thing that Blitz needs Stolas for. And we see that reference with Stolas getting a reminder on his phone about a potential deal at Ozzy's. This is also where I fear the most for Blitz and Stolas. Stolas knows he's lying to himself. Even if Blitz really does care, which he does, he's not even getting his visits with Blitz, and he's saying that it's okay for this pattern to continue, and we see with Blitz's response that yeah, it's bad. It's really fucking bad. And the simple fact is that even with Blitz reaching out after Stolas got hurt, telling him to get better soon, it's immediately followed up by Stolas thanking Blitz, saying thank you, that means a lot, and that he might be in the hospital for some time. But even though Blitz texted him, and while his face lit up, it's taking less and less time for Stolas' bleeding heart to hold out. And that hope fades when Blitz seemingly leaves Stolas on red, leaving us with a very alone Stolas, curled up in his hospital bed. And Stolas is praying. Figuratively, I mean, it's still hell, after all. I can't honestly believe how invested I've become with these characters. Vivian Medrano and Brandon Rogers and everyone over at Spindle Horse is doing such great work, and I can't gush about it enough. But at the end of the day, all a new episode of Helluva Boss is another chance for everyone on Team Spindle Horse to break all of our hearts. That's where this episode leaves us, and that's where this video ends. What do you think the end result will be with Stolitz? Will they ever get their Shrek? I mean, come on, if the M&Ms get one, these two certainly should. Will these two ever just sit down and fucking talk? Please, guys, I'm begging you, just communicate, god damn it. But with that said, I want to thank you for watching this video. I've had a lot of support with the last video I made, and I want to make these videos something y'all look forward to, and I'd love any and all feedback on how I can improve, because that's where I have the most fun. I like learning and tweaking things, and I hope you'll help me along in that journey. But I need you, ladies, gentlemen, and all you lovely folks in between or thereabouts, to like this video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe if it suits you. And if you can spare a share, It means the world to me. But that's it. So, yeah. See ya.